And we are live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Bigfoot Odyssey's Researchers Report. We have a great show for you tonight. I hope our guest is running a little bit late. He should be here shortly. I'm Kerry on with me as always, producer and co-host of the report, Miss Daniela Iolo. How are you, dear?
I'm good, thank you. How are
That is
you?
good. I'm great.
Good.
I feel fine. I feel really good. Been recording stories for story time, and with this Corona thing that's going on, that's all I've got to do is sit down and pick out some scenery and some music and find a good story and try to read it and hope everybody watches it and shares it. That's what I got. That's what I got right now. But our guest for this evening is Branden Shoma, the one and only. Yeah, you guys all probably know him as Nobody Knows. Nobody
Excellent.
knows 808. You know him as Nobody Knows 808 in the chat here. Branden Shoma, 808 being the area code for Hawaii, because that's where he's coming to us from whenever he does get here.
In
Uh,
quarantine.
in quarantine. That's right. He made the trip over. Was going to try to join the expedition for what it was, but couldn't get past Dallas and got hung up there. And once we got shut down in the last place, he just packed it on home, and now he's been shut in for a week. I think he's got one more. You think I think the symptoms start to show within a week of you getting it, the disease. And as terrible as this thing is, it's survivability of it for a normal healthy person is pretty good. It's the elderly and people with underlying conditions, compromised immune systems, and it's really a bad deal. It's so hard to kill, and there are a couple antibiotics, Z-Paks, Entermax being one, and I can't remember the name of the other one. It's the one they used to treat malaria since the 30s. Tends to work pretty good. But I never knew that antibiotics would work on a virus. But I'm not sure what makes a virus a virus. What constitutes it? I asked Linda that, and I don't remember what she told me. she she knows all that stuff. But
Yeah.
it's they've got more cases down there now, and and
It's everywhere, isn't it? It's
it is.
everywhere.
I don't know what the whole shut in thing is going to do really. Maybe it will help somehow. It just feels like eventually um, we're going to all end up with it and then move on from there. I hope that's not the case, but
I think they're saying if you get it, isolate yourself 7 days, uh, 2 weeks, and then apparently you can't get it again. That's what I'm hearing.
you're not supposed to be able to. You should have
Yeah.
those antibodies that recognize it immediately. If you do get it again, then the antibodies recognize it immediately, and your white blood cells go in and kill it. But again, it all comes down to your immunity to anything. I think I had a friend of mine that got chickenpox twice. So you're not supposed to be able to get that twice. But he got it when he was like 11, and then got it again when he was 35, and it was bad, like really bad. Of course, I hear the older you are, when you get something like that, the worse it is. I had him when I was 12, I think, and I had them on the bottom of my feet. I had them in
Mm.
my mouth. Yeah, I had it. I had it really bad. And I hear that's also the underlying thing for shingles or whatever that is. But
I had
hey,
a
some real
I,
interesting conversation going on here, right? A lot of
yeah,
Bigfoot.
no. How help? Yeah. I had
Very,
it twice though. I had chicken pox when I was young, and then when I was like 24.
yeah. See, so there you go. I don't know. So I don't know. I just hope we get out of this thing soon. The oil field's down. I'm completely out of work right now. So doing the story time, I hope you guys enjoy that. I really, really could use your stories. If you want me to tell your story, I'll put a nice scenery up there and some cool little background music, and I'll tell your story for you. The best thing that I can ask you guys to do to help out is to share it. give it, watch them, give it a thumbs up, share that thing. That's going to help out more than anything. But a couple of reasons for doing that. One, a lot of people are shut in, and it gives them something to do, and it's extra content for the channel.
Yeah.
So we're trying to do
Very
everything we
enjoying
can. It's bad times all the way around. The oil field being shut down, that's just a killer for us. A lot of people around here. Well, we're a coastal city. We're only about 50 miles from the coast, so we're considered coastal. So a lot of the people that live around here work offshore on the offshore drilling rigs, and when oil gets so low, they just quit producing. They'll shut everything down because the oil's worth more in the ground. And the only good thing about doing that is someone like China and Russia that are flooding the market with petroleum. Is we use 25 million barrels a day in this country, and that's what we were producing, which made us energy independent. We were actually exporting oil for the first time in 40 years. Well, now all those surpluses are going to get used up faster with us not producing. So we'll see. We're hoping and praying something happens quick with all this corona stuff, and we can just get back to normal, because there's nothing normal about what's going on right now.
No, there isn't. It's like being in a movie, or
it is
just in the same kind of Groundhog Day.
Well, there's so much fake stuff going around out there, and in the things that you hear, you don't know whether or not to take it seriously. The best thing I could tell anybody to do is go to the CDC website to get your information. Someone sent me a post. It was, what was it? Something from the National Guard. I can't remember. Here it is right here. I'm going to read this. It's on National Guard letterhead. It says, Homeland Security is prepared to mobilize the National Guard, prepared to dispatch them across the U.S. along with military. They will also call in first responders. They are preparing to announce a nationwide 2-week quarantine for all citizens, all businesses closed, everyone at home. They will announce this as soon as they have troops in place to help prevent looters and rioters. They will announce before the end of the weekend, within 48 to 72 hours, the president will evoke what is called the Stafford Act. The president will order a 2-week mandatory quarantine for the nation. Stock up on whatever you need to make sure you have a 2-week supply of everything. Please forward to your family and friends. But I don't know if that's real. I mean, I haven't heard anything in the news about this.
I think it has to come from the horse's mouth, doesn't it? If you've got Trump
really
over there, we've got Boris Johnson over here. I'm just listening to instructions that we should all be following. And, they're telling us what we need to know. Who knows? There's so many things going out there being said. You just need to, use your common sense and get what you need at home, and just make sure you're safe. And
well, I mean, I know there are certain things that are being utilized. Ford Motor Company is making PPEs for hospitals, masks. I mean, they quit making cars and started making personal protective equipment for a hospital, and I guess for personal use also. I don't know. So there are certain things happening, but you just don't know. Johnny Hart said that's proven to be fake. See, why would somebody do that? That's just, if that's fake, that's just pure evil, period. That's inciting panic. People running out. Anybody that saw that and took it seriously, they're running straight out to stock up on 2 weeks worth of stuff, if you haven't done that already. I mean, a lot of people aren't, because, grocery stores are still open. We're stocked up a little here, but I mean, 2 weeks worth of stuff, I think we could probably survive for 2 weeks here. I don't know. It's it would be slim pickings on day 14. I can tell you that. Yeah, Richie Evans, common sense is not very common. That's right. Unfortunately, critical thinking, weighing the source of your information, a lot of those things just don't happen. And it's all about who you trust. And there's just not that many people, not that many organizations that you can trust these days. Everybody has an agenda, and that's unfortunate. It really is. Bigfoot Odyssey has an agenda. It's awareness. But I mean, how big of a deal is that right now? Zero.
No one's going to bump into Bigfoot at the moment, are they? They're
Probably
not allowed
not.
out.
Probably not. I've got a Bigfoot story to tell during the coronavirus era, and I'm going to get to it and tell that and put all of our footage out and tell that story. But right now, I'm just trying to crank out the story time, the Bigfoot Odyssey story time, and hope that it catches on. Hoping. Need you guys. Where's Branden? He's way late. My boss, like I said, my boss used to tell me, he said 10 minutes early is on time. On time is late, and late is unacceptable. So this is unacceptable, Branden, Shoma, unless you have trouble with your daughter. Then we'll accept it. Trust in Jesus. I heard that, Mike.
I can't understand what's happened, but I think he's going to come on. I think he's going to come on soon. He's just sent a message.
If you're listening, get on here, buddy. We need you. We're dying here. Bunch of dead air going on. But
go on.
No, I just want to say, send me your stories, guys. Send me your story. I'll tell your story. If you don't want to tell it, we've got Josh. What is Josh's last name? McDermott. Josh McDermott's going to be on here Saturday. Has an excellent story. Something that happened to him when he was 17, and then like 6 years later, something happened with him and a friend of his in the woods. A lot of correlations with what happened to me. Except the only thing is he didn't see it, but still, the whole exchange is just incredible. So looking forward to having Josh McDermott on here Saturday, 7:00 p.m. Central. Did he send you a message?
Yeah.
We got here's a question for you, Daniela.
Uh-huh.
Is that for Daniela, or maybe there's a Daniel in there? I don't know.
Could be a Daniel in there.
I don't see a Daniel. Maybe that is for you, Daniela. Is that for Daniela?
I haven't seen a Bigfoot though, no.
I think that was Miss Celine.
Yeah, just Daniela and Kerry. We do read the chat. We have got the chat. Randy Wilson. We can see your.
Yeah, I kind of catch a glimpse of it every now and then. Usually I see the stuff that's all bold, but it's kind of far away, and it is a big screen, but it's kind of far away. So I just kind of catch if it's a big paragraph, I don't really try to read it. If it's a few sentences or just a few words, then yeah, like so much Jake has put something on here. It's all in caps. So, are there other hot spots around Kerry's house? Yeah, there's one right here. You know, I was in the back of my truck. I have two trucks. The other truck that I was just sitting out here had a bunch of trash in the back of it. I was out here, and it's kind of close to the woods. One day, just cleaning the trash out of the back of it, and I heard the loudest knock anybody would ever want to hear, and it was coming from the woods. And I just kept doing what I was doing. I didn't look up and act like I heard it. I knew right then that at least it was a possibility. I mean, what else makes that? It was like a baseball bat. It was so hard, like pow. I mean, just one knock, but it came from the woods. What is that? So, yeah, I don't want to have, if they're around here, I don't want them to have any clue that I'm onto them. So, what I might do is take my camera and stroll down to a little place here on the other side of the pasture and just go in and have a look and film around and at least have some stock footage for story time. It's really beautiful out there. There's a little pond you can go check out, and I don't think anybody's fished in it in 50 years. It's so grown up around the edge, but I flew the drone over there to it the other day.
Sounds nice.
There's one. Annie gone fishing. What do I think skinwalkers are? I know, man. When I read that story, I was like, this is not a Bigfoot story, but it's pretty creepy. I mean, I did it at like 11, 12 o'clock last night, just sitting here, and then I uploaded it and went to bed, and I got up and finished it and put it out this morning. I don't know what they are. I mean, I know that these Navajo people put these skins on, but I mean, whether they actually transform or not, I mean, it sounds pretty far-fetched, but who knows what these people can do. It's the idea of it. There was an excerpt written from this woman. What was her name? Joanne, and I'll read it. Joanne Teller. It was written in published by Infinity Horn. It was written The Navajo Skinwalker and Related Phenomena back in 1997. And it says, Skinwalker legend, the Sasquatch is not a skinwalker. Is the Navajo skinwalker the same as the white man's werewolf? Yes, if the Navajo wishes to wear skins, if the Navajo witch wears the skins of a wolf. But Navajo witches can mimic any animal they choose, not just a wolf. They can be a cat, a coyote, a dog, a bear, whatever the Navajo witch wants to be. The Navajo witches pick their skins for the type of job they plan to do. The coyote skin is for high speed, accurate sense of smell, and highly acute agility. The bear skin is for brute strength. However, the bear is not as fast as the coyote. Along with their new abilities, the Navajo skinwalker still retains their full mental capacities. If the Navajo witch is a fairly or highly intelligent person, when he or she changes into a skinwalker, they carry that intelligence with them. Then you have a very dangerous opponent. Unlike the Wolfman, the Skinwalker will use their whole bag of tricks, mind control, disease, and immobilization powder. The Navajos, that's from The Navajo Skinwalker and Related Phenomena by Joanne Teller. So that was, and I was going to put something like that in there, but the story to me was good enough. It didn't need to be pre-qualified. So I'm pretty selective about the stories I put in. Miss Diane Fowler sent us a great story, and I added a few little things in there just to, must have my internet on, just to kind of explain. But that's what I'm doing. I'm going through. I'm reading a lot of stories from like Bigfoot encounters. You can't take many from Reddit because a lot of that stuff is copyright. So if you take it from Reddit and you read it, you're going to have to pay whoever wrote it. So I don't really take a lot of stories from Reddit. Some of the stories, the first two that I did were stories that I wrote from people that told me what was going on around their places and experience they had. And there's been a lot of people that have told me their stuff. I just can't remember all of them. So if anybody has one they want to tell, send it to me. BigfootOdyssey@gmail.com. I'm going through there every day.
There's a lot of people in the chat with stories. I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
So they want to put it down on paper, as well.
Well, I talked to Cam. He just lives, 2 or 3 hours north of here. And we talk on the phone all the time. And he's the one that told me that I should be doing this anyway. He gets tons of them. I'm like, why can't I get anybody to send me their story? I don't understand this. What is the deal here? What am I doing wrong? He said, I don't know what you're doing wrong. They send them to me by the gobs. I'm like, well, good for you, buddy. That's all I can say.
It's interesting, isn't it?
It is. People
So
they
right.
don't want me telling their story, I guess.
I think it's coming on.
Oh, come on, Branden.
2 minutes, he says.
2 minutes.
2 minutes too late.
I don't. I don't know. It really didn't say, and you only ever referenced the Navajo friend a few times, and then she came and did a blessing over the property, and this was back in 1982, 83. This girl was 20 years old then, and I think the story was written right around 2000, 2002, uh, when I found it. So it's a 40 plus year old story, or a 38-year-old story, if you know how to do math like I don't.
What did you think of those clippings I sent you? They're old, weren't they? 1800s.
Yeah, and those are cool. I did some of the classics. I plan on doing some more of them. They're just, I don't know. There's some like the Bowman story. It's written so many different ways. So I can take Teddy Roosevelt's account of it, writing of it, and do that, and that's going to be a story on its own. It's going to be 25, 30 minutes long by itself. So it's really long, but it's involved. And I'm trying to gauge what is too involved and not too anticlimactic. So I don't want to tell this big long involvement and then somebody heard something rustling in the bushes. That's what I'm trying to weed out is that, and then just tell the stuff that's going to be interesting, or somebody can get something from it. That's what I'm trying to pick out.
Well, lots of comments in the chat about it. A lot of people have enjoyed the narration.
No, we're getting nothing but good comments about it. I mean, people that do comment are seem to be enjoying it and appreciate it, because everybody's stuck inside and it's just a little bit of something extra to do. And all I have is my voice and my relative ability to articulate when I want to. Is Kerry deep in the woods? Did the guys leave him? No, I'm not. I'm at home, which is not deep in the woods, but it is on the edge of some woods, some really big woods, actually. I won't say big woods. There's a lot of them out there. Oh my goodness! Look who it is! I can't believe it. Hey, he made it.
Yeah, sorry for being a little late, but I just came back from the stadium, which is like down here, anyways. From getting testing, I come home and I guess today's April 1st, April
It
Fool's
is.
Day. So on top of my cell phone that I left over here, my daughter taped these eyes, and then on top of the iPad there's taped eyes, and then everything's just not in the right order. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like a kind of a OCD freak, so I need to know where everything's at, and they've just put everything out of order, and I was just freaking out. I'm like, oh my, what the? And then they're like, do you know what today is? I'm like, today's not a good day. That's what today is. And then, yeah, and then I forgot it was April 1st, so I let it go, and I went down, kind of cooled off, and I was like, I better get on stream, I better hurry up. I was like, I need to show them my home that I was living in. So I'm in the car because it's hot outside. Like I'm sweating too. So
Yeah, I bet you're in Hawaii. I'm sure it's hot there all the time. Do you even have winter down there?
um, yeah. Let's see. Our winter months are January and February, which is a lot of raining. And if it's really good, we might have snow on our mountain. So
Oh,
if you live
nice.
up on the mountain, it gets actually pretty cold at night. It can go down to 30, and during the winter time, it with wind, it could reach probably like about zero.
Well, cool. Well, look, man, I know you do some investigating around there, and
Right.
there's supposed to be no Sasquatch in that area, but there is something there. and it's some kind of pygmy thing, correct?
Yeah, it's like they call it the menehune. It's like a childlike, maybe 3 or 4 foot little hairy thing or a creature that's like a Sasquatch but childlike. And then they
An
also,
Ewok.
oh, that one is the, yeah, like an Ewok, I guess you could, yeah, pretty much like that, yeah.
What
But
do they call them?
what's that?
What do they call them?
Menehune.
Minahune.
Yeah, they're kind of mysterious, mythical creatures that the chiefs down here, back in the old days, or yeah, however you want to get into it, they just would go greet them in the forest, and at night they would come out and build, you know, structures and stuff like that for the people. But if anybody came to sneak up and check them out at night, they would stop doing all their work and disappear. And I guess the chief would get upset and stuff like that because they don't want to be seen by, I guess, other people and whatnot.
Well, tell us a little bit about your investigation, what you found while you've been looking for these creatures.
Um, well, the weirdest things that ever happened is we would go out into the valley, and we're not really looking for them in a way. I guess you could just say we just let them come to us, but we're actually searching for old, you know, Hawaiian ruins, or maybe like a graveyard, or things that can help, uh, I guess, push forward for our culture, history, or knowledge. And weird things would happen, like our electronics would malfunction, at the times that you need it the most. 2, 3 in the morning, you hear things walking around, running around, and there's only a few of us, and nobody would know. Nobody that does drugs would go way out there where we're at. I mean, the only thing we could probably say, or logically explain it, would be, I guess, goat, deer, or wild boar. But all our food's usually hanging up high on the trees, it's not on the ground. And so, I mean, I really don't know. But there was that one time where I saw 2 pairs of red eyes, and it was about I guess, my level where I was sleeping on my hammock. Yeah, so about maybe 3 feet off the ground. And then I went to wake everybody up, and they saw it, and we all kind of. When one guy freaked out, he he jumped out of his hammock, went down, started taking off his clothes because he thought it was like a night marcher. The other guy jumped out and he grabbed onto me, and I went down and I just laid down and I put my head down. And because we didn't know what it was, and all our cameras at that time that was on, it died out. All the batteries were drained, so we thought it was like a ghost, but I thought it was something else. But I really don't know, what they are. And I mean, I don't even, because the area we're at, there's supposed to be a hidden graveyard of over 100 something bodies of chiefs just buried there somewhere in that valley. So,
Do you believe these creatures exist?
um, I do. The reason
Seem
why is just, if you go inside the bush, I mean, I know how people feel about structures. I mean, I should take pictures of them the next time we go, but there is some weird, like, kind of similar tree breaks. And I mean, it's it's got to be somebody playing a prank, like literally, like out of my group, because the place we go, it's really off trail. There's no trail to it. We just make our own trail, and we just mark it on a map every time we go out. So I I mean, the structures are similar. You see like X's, you see kind of leaners, and you can see they're deliberately broken. It's not, it's an old thing, and especially when you go in the bamboo areas, it's the bamboo. I mean, yeah, they break and whatnot. You can tell what is more natural versus what is a clean break, and it's kind of crazy. I just have to go and take pictures, and then I'll show you, and you guys can understand and see what I'm talking about. It's really, yeah, it's hard to, I guess, explain it, or whatnot. But that's the strangest things that that I ever encountered here in Hawaii versus in the mainland. In the mainland, I've got the regular weird, like that one time I heard someone screaming, like I swear it was like one of those shows where they have that same lady that yells when bloody murder when she's getting, something happens.
Tell us about that.
Um, I was visiting a friend in Seattle, and I told him, "Oh, take me out, in a bush where we can shoot, and stuff like that." And he's like, "I don't know any spots." So we picked someplace up north near a lake. What is the name of the lake?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's up north. It's a lake. Everybody usually camps there, like Memorial Day weekend and stuff like that. It's just your average camping ground, but there's like a long trail that goes up by Mount. Anyways, so we're going up. Yeah, Mount. I almost it came. Yeah, but anyways, let's see. We went up hiking, and then we're just loading his magazines and whatnot and stuff like that. And I was getting everything all ready, and then you hear like that regular, like a tree knock, and already I believed in Bigfoot then, but I never had a sighting, and so first thing it's like I guess you could say it was like power of suggestion. The moment I heard that, I was kind of like, "Oh, do you have woodpeckers out here?" And he's like, "I don't know," because he's another guy from Hawaii that lives in Seattle, so we don't know. And then we didn't have any electronics on us, so I couldn't just Google, "Is there a woodpecker out in here?" So, and then right as we're about to, load the weapons and set up our targets, I hear another, and it came from the right side of us, and it was pretty close. So then I started looking around and I look at the trees, and I figure, hey, you know what? Maybe it's just the trees just creaking. And then my friend's like, it's probably that, dude. But what are you tripping on? And I'm like, oh, nothing. And then I realized there's no wind, so how are these trees swaying? And then so I start getting a little freaked out, and I'm kind of like, I'll just let it be. And then so we kind of go to shooting, and then we finish up whatever, and we start hiking back down, and then next thing you know, he hears this like I don't know how he explained it, but he said he thought he heard like a dog bark or something like that behind him, and then that's it. That's the only weirdest thing that happened with us on that one. And
But you heard that scream. I mean, panthers scream like that.
oh no, that scream was in Nevada at Mount Charleston. I like to go up over there. That's that crazy like, yeah, I guess you could say a panther. I thought it was like a mountain lion or something like that making that scream, but it was so damn random, but it was loud. I mean, I could feel it like vibrate my chest.
Right. That's the thing about it is those type of screams. It may sound like a woman screaming until it hits the end, and you can hear the growl come out, and that it's not a female. You can tell it's a panther.
All I know is that when I heard that noise, like the first thing I did was switch magazines in my 308 AR, and I put a 100 round because I was like, what the hell is out here? I was a little freaked out, and that's when I started to notice all the tree breaks. And I was like, man, this is like, I'm alone out here. Okay, I think I should go now. And that's when I literally hightailed it out there. But other than that, I mean,
see, that could be Sasquatch. I think the majority of Sasquatch experiences are just like that. You hear tree breaks around, a loud scream. Nobody really sees anything, but they're experiencing something. Rocks get thrown. It's just to me, that's the normal. That's why we say be aware, because you don't know what that is. If you do some just a little deductive reasoning and think about what it isn't. You know, eliminate everything possibly that you know. If you can eliminate everything else, there's really only one place you can go, and that's this creature, because they can
Right.
do all those things. What was that? I missed it.
Yeah.
Happy to
Ask
have
Branden if he knows the tunnels under the Kahuku Mountains and Diamond Head.
Oh,
That's Gordon.
those tunnels on Oahu. Those are yeah. I don't want to go down there. That's one place I won't. I know that the National Guard has their little. I don't know. They have like a do not go beyond thing, but nah, I won't go down there. There's no tunnels I'm gonna go down. Uh-uh. You
Why
can
not?
pay me $1 million. I will not go unless I've got like a whole crew and they're all in front of me, and then I'll go with cameras. Yeah, then I'll go. That way, if anything happens, I can run, and they're all behind me. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just kidding.
So why not?
It's just it's like a taboo thing, I guess, for me. Like, Hawaiian. I mean, I don't know who built those tunnels, but
Superstitious.
yeah, in a sense, I still respect. Like when we go out and do our trails, when we go out hiking out in the mountains here, I give offerings, tobacco, things that the ancient Hawaiians used to like, and I say a prayer. And it didn't matter where I went. It could be even um, old Indian grounds. If there was a battlefield or anything like that that happened a long time ago, I'd still pay my respects. Even when I go take a whiz and there's no Gatorade bottle or anything I could utilize, I end up saying I'm sorry for peeing here just in case I'm somebody's grave. I wouldn't, if I'm in the ground and somebody did that to me. I swear, if I could come back, I'd come back and haunt this guy until you apologize.
I'm not laughing at you, man. That's the notion. That's all. What about you, Danielle? Are you superstitious?
No.
Yes, she is.
Am I? I think no, when you kind of work out what these superstitions are about, a lot of them are just common sense. I think, don't walk under a ladder because you might get a tin of paint on your head, from whoever's up there. But so I don't know. I don't think I am.
You're just pulling the Wonder Woman act right now, right?
Yeah. Just no, nothing seems to. No, I don't think I am.
Okay.
You don't ever experience any weird things like that where it kind of freaks you out, like especially when you go like graveyards and you don't want to step on someone's plot or
Yeah,
things
step
like
on a
that.
grave, step on a crack. That's one. Opening a knife and then not handing it back the same way you took it. That's just little stuff like that. A lot of people do those things.
Throwing
What about
salt,
the
throwing
mirrors
salt
and
over your shoulder. Sorry, were you supposed to throw salt over your shoulder when you spill it? I mean, you're just making a mess, aren't you? What's the point?
me? I'll just
You've
throw the
made a
whole
mess, now
bottle.
make more mess. No. Just
Break a mirror.
I
7
know what
years of
kind
bad
of
luck.
makes me a little freaked out though is when you got the mirrors on those sliding door or closets with the mirrors on them, and then you have like a mirror that is facing the window. For some reason, I always see things like if I on the corner of my eye when I turn my head to go out. Like once in a while, I would catch something like out my window, and then I turn out and look, and then I turn on my torch, and it's like, man, I couldn't have seen anything to that. It's pitch black, but it's kind of like that over here. It's weird.
I bet there's a lot of weird stuff that happens over there. I mean, there's so much history and lore surrounding spirits, evil spirits, demons, if you will.
Yeah.
Then you hear about these little flesh and blood creatures that are running around like a little baby Bigfoot, uh, troll or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and terrorizing and stealing people's stuff out of their garden. I mean, not much different than the Bigfoot. Uh oh.
Hang on, I'm gonna go move inside the office. All right.
Go back
Sorry.
to my father's side, Sicilian
show you where I'm
side.
living.
The Sicilians are very superstitious and believe people can put curses on you by just looking at you if you upset them. And I remember being there in the summer as a kid and being told not to look at certain people because they could give you headaches. They believed that some people were werewolves, and I just remember a guy who was really hairy, and they told me that his family locked him up in the house. He was only allowed out at certain times of the day. And then I remember seeing my grandmother perform some sort of cleansing thing over my dad's head and his brother's head, my uncle, because they thought someone had cursed them. I mean, you have bad luck over there and someone thinks it's been caused by someone else. It's very, I don't know if it's still like that now, but certainly when I was a kid and my sort of, my parents and their generation, they're very superstitious over there.
My dad, if anybody ever gave him a knife, he would give them a coin, a nickel or a dime or whatever, a quarter, whatever. I remember I gave him a knife for Christmas one time, and he took a quarter out of his pocket and gave it to me. And I was like, "What's this?" He said, "Well, that's what you're supposed to do. When somebody gives you a knife, you're supposed to give them a coin." And I was like, "Okay, fine." I just took it, put it in my pocket. I wasn't, but I know it's weird little things like that, superstitions, and they can guide your whole life. People do these things.
Right.
I'm not superstitious because it's bad luck to be superstitious, I think.
Mhm. I think me, it's just more of a.
You feel like
I guess.
that, I'm not superstitious.
I don't think anybody picked up on that.
Well, or you then were you kind of itchy over there? What's going on?
It's bad luck.
But yeah, this is where I was living at since I came back. But I had my stuff over here in the corner. This is the office. Don't mind all the mess, but yeah.
Yeah. So how you feeling? You feel okay?
Sorry, did I give
Lord.
you guys some Corona? I'm just kidding. And here's my latrine. That doesn't work out. Is that better?
Yeah, we don't need to see that.
Oh, it's clean. Trust me, I'm a clean freak. Like, if I have to squat in a porta potty, I will.
So this is where you quarantined yourself after going through the trip from HE double hockey stick. Sorry, I know we got kids watching. Hey, Dixie Dobbins, how you doing? I know she watches.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember.
So so this is where you've quarantined yourself to. How much longer you got?
Oh, I'm pretty good. I'm okay to go according to. I went early this morning, about 06:30. They called me early. I was actually supposed to go tomorrow, and I guess it takes around 6 to, I don't know, 5. I don't know how long it takes, but I had to wait down at the field until they say, you're good to go. You don't have to stay in quarantine. And, the guy came up to me and said, I guess it was his April Fool's, but he's like, "Oh yeah, dude, sorry to let you know, but you tested negative." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And it's like, ha, I kind of laughed it off. But then when I came home, then I realized what he did. It was kind of like an April Fool's thing. And that's
You
why my
tested
daughter.
negative. That's good, right?
Yeah.
Tested negative is a good thing.
Yeah, because if you test positive, then I have to still be in this room, and I couldn't be angry at my daughters upstairs. Yeah.
Ah, got you. Absolutely. What is that noise we're hearing? Is that a horn?
That is my data miner. I'm mining Bitcoin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If it's irritating, I could move if you want.
It sounds like a horn in the background or something. I don't know. It's
I'll show you. I built this. It's inside the coolers, but
yeah, that's what we're hearing.
That's the fans. Yeah.
It's mildly annoying. Yeah. I'll say that.
Okay, I'll go outside just for you, Kerry.
Not for me, man. For the people that are managing to make their way this far into this video.
Right. I know.
With all this awesome content that we're bringing everybody, right now.
Look at this.
I always put my
Mike
left shoe.
Kirkpatrick says, I always put my left shoe on first. So if you put your right shoe on first by accident, do you take them both off, Mike, and then just start over again? I mean, that I don't want to say anybody's superstition sounds crazy, because I mean, I've done some pretty crazy things in my life. Yeah, I'm gonna mute you for a second there, Branden. That just sounds like a car horn constantly going, whatever it is. I was like somebody's had a wreck and their head is stuck on the car horn right now. Oh, okay, all right. All right, now we can hear the car running. That's at least better.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Now we can hear the now we can hear the air conditioner going.
Okay.
It gets his
I get
rough
my
Mike. All right, here's a good question. Branden, are you coming back for the fall expedition?
Well, we have to see, and hopefully this Corona thing, it stops, because
Yeah, well, if there's a Corona thing, they're not going to be one. But if we have it, if we're able, are you going to make it?
Yeah, definitely. I'll
Fantastic.
be there. I'll be the guy to do whatever. Anything you want me to do, I'm there.
We're going to need the grunt to run through the bushes and scare them out, man. That's what we're going to. That's your job.
Yeah. I'll bring my full body armor and plates then, because if that thing hits me, at least I kind of can take a hit, I could say.
Mark Zasky has a video of him getting hit by a tree limb where he's chasing one of these things. He had been chasing a little one all day. Melanie's standing up on the levee, and she could hear it running around. And so she's pointing to him, it's over here. And he ran. He actually saw it. He said, Kerry, it was 3 feet tall, and it was moving like Barry Sanders. It would just cut and run different places. And I mean, you could hear it. He'd run after it. It would run somewhere and stop. So he'd go over there, and then it would take off running again. And he said, all I saw was the back of it. And it was just a little hairy guy, with a pointed head. And
I mean, that's exactly what people here describe in the islands when they do have an encounter, when they're driving at night or anything like that. It's exactly like what he said.
Yeah, well, let me finish. He's chasing this thing around, right? And it's starting to get dark. So he's walking through on his way back out, holding his camera, and he's probably 100 feet from the levee. You can kind of see, the sun's going down, and you see this limb come out of nowhere and just whack. I mean, hit him right across the chest, and he doesn't say anything. He goes down on his knees. He told me, he said, Kerry, I was scared to death. I thought they had me. I thought it was over. He picks up his camera. He gets up and dusts himself off. And I think he shut the camera off at that point and then made it the rest of the way out. But I mean, how crazy is that? They knew. It was the appropriate response. If you're going to chase us down, we're going to hit you with sticks.
Right, especially if it's a little one.
Yeah, well, I don't think it was the little one that did that. I think it was one of the big boys behind a tree somewhere. I don't know if they threw it at him or they swung it at him. He thinks they threw it and hit him, but he had like this big mark across his chest where he got hit with this thing, with this limb. Yeah. So, I mean,
how about I chase the big one so I can see it coming at me instead of chase the small one?
I don't know. I think the big one's going to pop your head off faster than the little one will.
Well, I hope. Yeah, that's not. Yeah,
we're not going to
talk about that when we get there.
We're not going to go through anything like that. I think when it comes down to it, we're going to anybody going through the bushes, especially at night, we're going to have the FLIRs, and you'll be able to see one close to you. I would recommend not pointing it out. Like you come up on one and they're standing there 3 feet away and going, oh, there it is. Yeah, I probably would just keep going and hit the radio and say, hey, he's right here. He's behind this tree. Get over here.
I probably use like a code word or something, because if we, get on the net and say, hey, there's one here, they probably understand our language. Be like, this guy's funny.
Why would they?
Yeah.
Why would they understand our language? I never understood that. I know they watch us pretty closely, but understanding our language, I don't know.
It could be possible. I mean, we can teach, sign language to,
I'm not saying they couldn't learn it. I'm not saying that, but I'm not saying they couldn't understand inflection. You can tell when someone's upset or gesturing, in a certain
Right.
way. If you look back at the Albert Osman story,
Oh,
and
right.
the young male Sasquatch, he had made a dipper out of a can with a stick for a handle, and he gives it to the boy, and the boy, which is like 7 feet tall and 400-pound boy, one he called the little one, and he gestures at it and then gestures to his sister. He wanted him to make another one for his
Right.
sister. So, but I don't think they understood anything he was saying.
Right.
Not to
Right.
say that
Right.
there's some that don't. I'm just saying it just seems to me
Right.
to
Right.
be a little bit far fetched for this natural creature that I'm sure has a language. I'm positive they have a language. I believe I heard one talking. I believe I've heard them talking quite a bit, actually. But as far as it being English or anything like that, I don't know. Maybe so. I don't want to say no. It just, to me, it just sounds a little far fetched. People say you can talk to them and they know. Of course, I hear things like we're wasting our time because they can detect cameras and they can detect the energy from your cameras. And I don't know. They've been caught on camera before.
Right.
So it's
Right.
not outside the realm of possibility to catch them on camera or catch them on camera moving. But you got to be in there where they are. They're not
Yeah.
gonna let you get close enough on purpose just to go out, and they're not gonna stand out there to take a picture. And that's what I think a lot of people don't understand is the nature of this creature. It's gonna hide. It's gonna be on the ground. It's gonna peek out one eyeball sticking through there watching you. So
Right. Right.
that's what most people think. If it's real, then we should be able to see it walking through the woods. And that's just not what they do. Not when we're around anyway.
Yeah. Definitely. But yeah, I guess you could say yeah. But I'd probably just say a cold word and I'd say it to my left and then just keep going, just in case. You
Yeah.
never know. I mean, but yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I mean,
You're gonna be one of those guys though,
that what?
going through the bushes.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna be right there with you, camera in hand, filming you guys do your thing.
Well, as long as you're there, it's good. I'll feel safe. Cause I got big Kerry. Be like, I'll just go right behind you, and we can take them on together.
Yeah, big Kerry. I'm not taking on anything. I got Big Jeff gonna be behind me with the guns,
Well,
guaranteeing.
me and you will be behind Jeff then, and then we'll let him go, and then we'll do what we do after.
But we still have all our strategies in place. We just need to implore them and hope that they produce something. With what we had planned, it's a whole lot better story. Even if it fails, it's a good story to tell.
Right.
Everything that we went through is probably a good story when I get through with it. People may want to hear it. I don't know. And plus everything I got some decent footage of these guys and interviews. But you're going to have to sit down and record everything you went through and Dropbox it to me so I can filter it in certain places what you were going through
Right.
at the same time we were going through our ordeal. You were going through a separate ordeal just trying to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And while we have about 7 minutes left, you want to talk a little bit about that, what all you did go through?
Um, I I before I left that actual day, everybody was saying, I don't think you should go. You should cancel your flight because this virus is getting crazy. And I'm like, no, it's okay. The flight's okay, nothing's delayed. I kept checking, my flight schedule, everything like that, and then so everything went fine. We took off. I put on my beats and I went to sleep, and I woke up, and next thing you know, um, I hear like I can kind of see I guess the West Coast or what I think it was, yeah, and then can hear the captain saying something, we have to do emergency landing. I'm like, what the hell, what the heck is going on? And then he didn't say much, but so we just landed, and then next thing you know, I see the stewardess running past me, and I'm like, "What's going on up front?" Like, well, I start looking out the window, like, thinking, "Are we under attack or something? Or what's going on?" And then I kind of peeked through the curtain from business class until, first class, and there was a lady that couldn't breathe, and I was like, oh great, please don't tell me we're all meant, whatever. And next thing you know, I guess they all got excited, or I don't know what it was, but they said we're gonna have to stay here on the tarmac until I guess the medical people come here, and we're gonna get contained. I guess you know how things just spread quickly, but it was because the lady had like some kind of a heart valve. I don't know, something was wrong with her heart or pacemaker or something like that. That's the whole reason why she had that attack, and it was luckily we just reached there. If not, no matter where we were in the Pacific, the pilot would have to make a choice, either go, because we already would have been at the halfway point when she kind of already started having troubles, but it wasn't much. She thought it was just, I don't know what was really going on, but I could see she was showing most of the symptoms that they say when you have corona, the hard time breathing, and she was coughing a lot, and she looked really sick, but it was because of her heart. It wasn't because she was contaminated or she had the virus. So, and then finally they let us go, and we pushed off, and by the time I got to Dallas, I mean, I was like, man, the guys are probably like, is he like coming, or is he still, what's going on? And I was like, man, I should be there already. And then couldn't get a flight, standby. So they put me in a room, and then so I was already up for, I think, almost a day and a half already. Because I was so psyched and pumped. I was like, yes, I'm gonna show up a day early, and then we're gonna do all this, and it's like I'm only missing a day and a half or so, and and it ended up not happening, and yeah, it was kind of, yeah, just a little. Yeah, and my 2 pineapples, I think I left it in a room, or I didn't give it away. I think I left it in a room, and yeah, I was a little upset though, because I
That's all
didn't
right.
get.
You're gonna bring some more back when you come back.
Yeah, definitely, I can bring more, but yeah, I can.
No,
I
no one
can.
could
Yeah.
predicted any of it, could they? No one could have predicted absolutely any of it. I mean, maybe you could have
No,
said, let's not go, but
guys
nobody
had
really
already left.
knew.
There's
Yeah.
no, I couldn't say no then and shut it down. And those guys had already gone. Some of them were in Florida, and I mean,
Yeah.
it was ambitious. I didn't think that Mississippi would get shut down like Florida, but I was wrong. It did. And then, the whole thing is just scary, I guess, for everybody. So it's all understandable. There's no hard feelings against anybody. And I think everybody knows we tried our best. And we've got something. It's not a lot of Bigfoot evidence, but I mean, it may be. I don't know, but it's not.
Hmm.
We don't have them on camera like we had absolutely planned to get. But that was a situation. It was going to be hard out of Florida, where we know they're going to be,
Right.
to find anything. So going down to Florida with what we know right now and the equipment and the guys, our chances are very good to catch these things. I mean, you should see some of the things Zassy is getting in this new place of his. It's insane. Some of his best stuff he's gotten recently,
Hmm.
and it's you wouldn't believe where it was.
Yeah,
It's
I saw his documentary on Amazon Prime. I think he made a documentary or
Yeah, that's
something.
that's like 2 years old.
Yeah, and I was looking at all the pictures and stuff like that, and it just I have my Oakley lenses that enhance different colors. When you're out in the field for
Mm,
combat, like green, red. It's the lens just enhance those colors of those plants. And there's
mm,
I forgot the name of the model of the lens that they issue, but it's for you to spot a sniper in full camouflage if he's not naturally lined up. Like, I guess, put the plants on his ghillie suit and whatnot. You can
right.
spot him out like that, like instantly, because hey, something's out of place, and then you can see it, and then you see silhouette, and that's how you catch him. But I was gonna see if maybe I could order. I think it's like 25 to no, I think no, that lens is, I think, 45. The other one, this laser lens, it's 225. But It's
Hey,
$45
it's worth a
bucks.
shot if it works. Absolutely. I got your range finder, and I've got your battery and charger and all here ready to go. So whenever you get here, you got all that. You get at least you got that equipment here now, and I got
All
all the
right.
packs. I still got all those packs that you sent. I got all those things. So all that stuff's here. But hey, we've come to the end of our hour, Branden. Thank you so much for coming on here, and when you did,
Showing up late. Sorry.
yeah, that's all right. And going through what you went through for the expedition, everything you did for it was just magnificent. Couldn't have asked for a better guy to be over there to do this with us, even though you didn't get to make it. I'm looking forward to you coming absolutely to the next one and getting this done. Remind everybody, if you haven't gone, subscribe to Hidden Existence. That's Daniela's channel. She's got some excellent content on there. Check out the new story time for Bigfoot Odyssey and share that bad boy. Share it. Get the word out. We really need you to share it. It helps so much. You guys share that for us. And I'm going to putting them out every day. So I'm going to have another one tomorrow and the next day. And as long as I'm sitting here in quarantine, I'll be putting out some stories for you guys to listen to. Thanks again, Branden, for showing up tonight, 7:00 p.m. Pacific, 9:00 p.m. Central, Paranormal Portal, 2-hour show, Brent and Don. That's tonight. You guys have a good night and take care. You going to play us out? You going to play us out?
Yeah, play us out. Yeah, everyone.
Good night.
Such a good song.
Yeah.
It really is when you listen to it. Good night.
Bye, y'all.
Good night.